Monaco, a procession of cars go round and round, not being able to overtake, making it a very boring race.
We go wheel to wheel. Whoa, he's nearly into the...
Yeah, we saw that.
What the f*** with that? King Magnussen ahead and make... Oh, it's Sainz has gone deep at Mirabeau. Oh, and hit by Perez. So he went to the intermediate.
Was still driving on. It was
and
pushing.
It
Look, he doesn't want to do it in the high-speed corner.
Get by. He can.
What the fuck? Morning everyone, and welcome back to This Week in F1, where for the first time in a million billion years, we have had an interesting race. And it was Monaco. After one of the best qualifyings I have ever seen, with OCON managing to get a P3 start after a Charlie Boy penalty.
Oh, well done.
And after a voice crack from Crofty,
Straight towards Max.
5 red lights were out and we got underway, with the early laps being uneventful, other than Hulkenberg deciding to go to war with Canada. This sent the American into a meltdown. But after that it all calmed down a bit until Carlos wanted to push Ocon to use his tyres, and then he pushed Ocon with his tyres.
What for? What can we tell him? What for? Do we know what for?
And after a terrible qualifying, crashing out last in Q1, the other Spanish-speaking number 2 decided to show everyone why he was the other Spanish-speaking number 2 by slamming into Stroll trying to overtake him and was forced to give the position back. King of the street, my arse. And then it got even worse for the Mexican as he decided to drive into the back of Kevin, damaging his front wing. But then the race got very interesting as the rain started to come down over Mirabeau and everyone was trying to work out when to switch to the inters, which started a chain reaction of glorious, glorious chaos. Aston Martin must have caught something from the Ferrari engineers as they decided to put Alonso onto the mediums while the rain was coming down. Then Max hits the wall at Portier, then Sainz goes deep into the runoff at Mirabeau, Max screams for inters,
We need inters.
Alonso cries into his helmet, then Russell goes deep into Mirabeau before backing into Perez, all of this while Stroll goes deep and then proceeds to hit every barrier known to man, then Kevin goes straight on at Zandvoort, then Yuki's brakes decided to go to shit, meaning Piastri got P10, which means I correctly predicted P10 for the first time this season. Then the American forgets how to do the hairpin, and then it all calms down as we hear the inevitable from Crofty.
Max Verstappen wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
With Alonso and Ocon rounding out the podium, then Ocon managed to fuck up standing on the podium and it was all over. So what does this mean for the championship? Well, obviously Max goes even further clear with Checo finishing outside the points. Mercedes closed the gap to Aston Martin because Stroll doesn't know how to drive, and there are only 2 drivers yet to score points. Anyway, on to the news, and the big headline this week was of course the rumours of Hamilton to Ferrari and Leclerc to Mercedes. Both teams have since come out calling them bullshit, and the most predictable thing since discovering that Schofield is a nonce. And even though this had nothing to do with Red Bull, the corpse decided to give his stupid fucking opinion, saying Hamilton is only moving because he is not the most paid driver on the grid. So, if one of the most successful drivers in F1 wants to earn more money, why shouldn't he? Especially considering no matter where he goes, he's going to get screwed over either by the car at Mercedes or the strategy at Ferrari. Who cares? The fucking old corpse meat. Mario Andretti has said after Verstappen wins 8 world championships, he will convince him to race the Indy 500. And the way Max is driving now, the most unrealistic thing about that is it's only going to be 8 championships. Another big story of the week was Alfa Romeo are going to be joining Haas in a title deal from the 2024 season, which means Gunther Steiner will spend even more time sucking off Bonotto.
Conosco Gunther da tanti anni. Una persona particolare, insomma.
Williams have announced they're going to be bringing a special livery to Singapore and it looks amazing. Unfortunately, it won't make Logan Sargent any less shit. The Ferrari boys played in a charity match before the weekend and Leclerc ate the floor and Sainz picked up an injury, pretty much foreshadowing their weekend. Yuki is rumoured to be joining Aston Martin in 2026 when their Honda partnership comes into effect, and a team of Fernando and Yuki is a team I desperately need to see, but unfortunately Lance Stroll will still be there. Stephanie is still completely pointless as he continues to chat shit, saying that Max shouldn't be lazy and can race 25 to 30 times a year, which isn't the point, but I wouldn't expect him to get that because he's an old bint. You see, it's not just about the drivers. They have the engineers and the crew and the catering, PR, and the list goes on. And they are definitely nowhere near on the same wage as Verstappen. So it's not fair making them travel to all these different events, you know. 23 is a good number. We should stick with it. Focus on making the tyres fall off harder or the cars smaller rather than improve things that aren't actually going to help the sport. Make the sport better and then build around it. Hards should not last. Mediums should not be able to last as long as hards. It doesn't make sense. Pirelli are fucking the sport. How can the hards last so long? How the mediums last? Make them fall off for fuck's sakes. What was the point? Yeah, Stephanie is a bald-headed fraud. In a bit.